We're going to call the special meeting for Akron City Council to order. Clerk will read the roll.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Amobian.
Aye.
Samples.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
All members are present.
Thank you so much. Before we move into our agenda, we do want to just take an opportunity to acknowledge the passing of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Ginsburg, who was a true pioneer for women's rights, voting rights, and also just a champion for so many other causes. So at this time, just going to ask if we can have a moment of silence for us just to reflect on her life, her work, and also her legacy. Thank you. At this time, we will move back into our agenda. I'm going to ask if Councilman Fusco could please give us a motion to suspend all council rules that require us to do in-person meeting and in-person voting. Councilman Fusco?
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to suspend all council rules that require or contemplate in-person meetings and in-person voting.
Thank you. Councilman Swirsky, can you second that motion for us?
Yes, I second that motion.
Roll call.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Amobian.
Aye.
Samples.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you so much. At this time, just going to ask if we could please have a motion to approve the minutes from our previously held meeting. Councilman Kamer?
Thank you, President. I will make that motion.
Thank you so much. So we have a motion on the floor. Councilwoman Amobian, will you second that motion?
Yeah, second.
Roll call.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Amobian.
Aye.
Samples.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
Passes 13-0.
Thank you. We will now move into our old business, but before we do that, we do have 4 public hearings scheduled for this evening. So I'm going to ask if clerk will read in item number 1.
Oh.
Notice is here.
We need to swear in.
Do you want to swear in first?
We'll take the guidance of law, but we can either, I know we don't have petitions for the first 2, or we can swear in for each piece, or however law would like us to move forward.
Whichever you prefer. We can do it one at a time when the hearing is coming up.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, September 21st, 2020, during the council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance approving the Mole Perkins Good Park redevelopment plan.
Thank you so much. I'm not sure who's presenting on this, item number 1.
It'll be me, Dylan Garitano.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. The Mall Good Park Renewal Area is located in West Akron at the southwest edge of Mall Avenue and South Hawkins Circle. The area is approximately bounded by Mall Avenue to the north, South Hawkins to the east, Kildare Road on the west, and Sunset View Drive and the Good Park Golf Course to the south. The Mall Good Park Renewal Plan contains a description of area boundaries, a statement of objectives, a land use plan, and a description of the techniques and standards to accomplish the objectives. The renewal plan is required to justify municipal activity in the area, provide for citizen input, and assure coordination with citywide plans. The Mall Good Park Renewal Plan will allow for the redevelopment of the area, including clearing blighting influences, preventing the recurrence of blight, and facilitating the development of attractive new residential uses in the area. The Urban Renewal Plan and Eligibility Report describes existing conditions within the area. The area encompasses approximately 17 acres, and development in this area is primarily single-family residential, but it does include several apartment buildings as well as the institutional uses, including the buildings of the St. Sebastian's Parish. The renewal area contains one parcel which was formerly occupied by the Perkins School. This parcel is currently vacant and is located in an area of defective or inadequate street layout, and also suffers from a faulty lot layout in relation to size, adequacy, accessibility, or usefulness. These conditions are of sufficient scope and pervasiveness to qualify the area as blighted under Ohio Revised Code. The establishment of the renewal plan gives the city the ability to utilize tax increment financing in the plan area under the provisions of the Ohio Revised Code. Existing zoning will not be changed, and this area has received a conditional use by the council. The planning department recommends approval. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we actually do not have anyone registered to speak in favor or against item number 1. So Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to pull the committee for 1 week's time. Swirsky?
Aye.
Swirsky?
Yeah,
Thank
aye.
you.
They keep turning
Ba-
up.
I know. Baylor?
Aye. It keeps muting.
Yes.
Aye.
Samples?
Aye.
And Kamer?
Aye.
Thank you. Yeah, the request of committee is for 1 week's time.
Okay, thank you so much. Time will be granted.
Second public hearing tonight. Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, September 21st, 2020, during the council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance approving the 2020 Citizen Participation Plan.
Good evening, Madam Chair, committee members. The Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 requires communities receiving community development block grant funds and home funds to have in place a citizen participation plan. The City of Akron Citizen Participation Plan includes a description of efforts undertaken to provide for and encourage citizen participation. It emphasizes outreach to low and moderate income individuals, particularly those residents in low and moderate neighborhoods. The plan explains the process for how the city conducts meetings related to the consolidated plan, so citizens can have access to needs meetings, information, and records related to grantees' proposed and actual funding uses. The plan outlines and provides information in the public hearing process to obtain citizen views and to respond proposals and questions related to the consolidated plan amendments. The 2020 plan before you also outlines efforts in case there is another national emergency like COVID, the process that we need to undertake as a community to implement community development block grant funds, home funds, and emergency solutions grant funds. We've also updated the plan to include updates to technology, committee notifications, and requirements for the substantial amendments to the consolidated plan, such efforts as Section 108 plans that we've brought to council in the past 10 years. I'm available for any questions should you have any.
Thank you so much. And again, we do not have anyone present on this evening to speak in favor or against this ordinance. Councilman Fusco?
Yes, I'd like to pull my committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. Kamer,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Baylor,
Aye.
Swiderski.
Aye.
Yes, thank you. The report of the committee is favorable. This is a federal requirement, and also mentioned earlier today that this added a piece in reference to social media and trying to communicate and get citizen participation in terms of our CDBG, ESG, and home funds. With that, we're going to recommend approval, and this is updating a plan that was originally developed in 2013. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable.
Question.
Councilman Neal?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to bring this before council as I appreciate that we're going to lengths to make sure in this difficult time that citizens have a chance to participate. But I had a good conversation with Ms. Tomic, and she educated me on some things. And if this isn't the appropriate time, Ms. Tomic, please correct me. But I think as we as council have this discussion about equitable execution of policy and practice and investment in our communities, as we look at this reimagining public safety, which as we grow in understanding, we'll come to understand public safety is holistically how we govern, not just the police. I think we need to have an understanding on how we invest our CDBG funds. I'd ask Ms. Tomic if we have a allocated amount for each ward. And of course, when we talk about equitable investment, that means those wards that are more challenging would get even more dollars. But I don't think we've made our investment like that in the past. So I'd like for us, as we extend opportunities for our citizens to participate in this discussion, for us as council to go back and look at how we have invested CDBG funds over the years, where those dollars have been invested and how they've been invested, so that for 2021, we make equitable investments in our community.
Thank you, Councilman Neal. Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you. And thank you for bringing that up, Mr. Neal. I appreciate that. I could tell you this, though, the basis for CDBG funds that are given to us from the federal government and the guidelines outline is based on income, and therefore 2 wards in our city has never seen any CDBG funds, and that's Ward 6 and 8. I can tell you that. But in terms of moving forward, always receptive to listening to new ways that we can engage the public.
Thank you so much. Are there any additional comments or questions at this time? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swiderski.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, September 21st, 2020, during the council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct an automatic car wash at 2156 East Waterloo Road.
Thank you so much. And I do know that the petitioner is present with us this evening, so we're going to ask that a member of our law department will swear in the petitioner and whomever else wishes to speak in regards to 2156 East Waterloo Road.
Sure. With those wishing to comment during this public hearing, unmute yourself and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give is the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. And from planning, who do we have presenting?
It's Mike Antonucci here.
Thank you, Mr. Antonucci.
Yes. Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Jay Bannister is requesting permission to construct an automatic car wash facility at this location. The property would be raised in order to construct a new car wash facility roughly parallel to Waterloo Road. The low flat roof central portion of the building would be flanked on both ends by taller towers with standing seam metal roofs. Exterior wall materials would be a combination of brick and split face block with sections of vinyl siding at the towers. Drives are proposed toward the southwest corner of the site along Hillbush Avenue and at the northeast corner of the lot along Waterloo Road in Springfield Township. A double row of 23 parking spaces between the structure and Waterloo Road would provide an area for manual interior vacuuming and cleaning. Water and sewer are both available on Hillbush Avenue. Petitioner will need to coordinate with the traffic engineer and ODOT to ensure safe ingress and egress from all directions. Planning staff is of the opinion that the proposed development would have an overall positive impact on the surrounding area by providing a desired service at this busy intersection. And both Planning Commission and planning staff recommend approval subject to conditions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Antonucci. At this time, if our petitioner would like to bring forth remarks, if you could, and just give us your name first.
I believe Jay just got here, so I'm going to jump to him first.
Great.
Mr. Bannister, we're going to have you sworn in by a member of our law department first. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Bannister, will you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give is the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Thank you.
And Mr. Bannister, you can proceed with your remarks.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say how happy we are here, and we would like to present our case. I have Travis Logsdon and Rich Bozick here to present our drawings for you, and I am here to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you so much.
Can I share the screen now?
You can.
All right. Okay, this is the corner at East Waterloo and Hillbush Avenue. There's an existing building that is being removed. Previously, it's been a couple of different restaurants, and it's also been a kind of a garden shed center for selling sheds. It's not been very active lately, but it's a nice corner. And as we go to the next plan, you'll see that the building that we're proposing is a long kind of tunnel building for the car wash. It fits nicely on the piece of land, and we'll have entry off of Hillbush, and we're also coordinating with ODOT for a right turn only entry off of East Waterloo. And there'll be an exit at both of those points. The landscaping that we're proposing, which is the next plan, we're trying to work with plants that are both interesting during the blossoming time, summer, and then winter when the leaves are dropped. So, and we're going to retain some of the existing greenery that's there so that we have a nice barrier between the adjacent piece of land.
It's a pretty straightforward building, tunnel facing the street, and then a series of uses across. The cars will come across the back, drive through an overhang, an awning to come around, enter the tunnel and exit down the end. Pretty simple materials, but nice clean options. Just a nice brick look, some metal bands, a drive-it band that has car wash on it, and then some sort of stone pier with glass block to kind of keep the action within the tunnel sort of in the forefront. of, if you're driving by, and then just gives you a good general sense of the building. The elevation at the top is what faces East Waterloo. And then the south elevation, which has this secondary sign for Soak City, faces Hillbush. So it seems like a good option.
And we're open for any questions.
Hey, thank you so much. Councilman Fusco?
Yes, I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. Baylor,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Gamer,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
Thank you. The report of the committee is for suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Thank you so much. Was there anything else, Councilman Fusco? I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, the petitioner has agreed to the conditions that have been put forward by the planning department. I know the ward council representative, Mr. McKittrick, is in favor of this. The planning department and the commission all recommended approval. Therefore, we're recommending approval this evening.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Our final public hearing for the night is notice is hereby given that the following public hearings will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, September 21st, 2020, during the council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish an auto sales dealership at 1825 South Main Street.
Thank you so much. Our petitioner, Ron McAllister, is present with us this evening, and just going to ask if a member of our law department will swear Mr. McAllister in.
Sure. Mr. McAllister, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Ron McAllister is requesting permission to establish an automobile sales lot at this location. The property contains a small sales office building and a 2-bay garage structure. The previously gravel lot is overgrown with grass. Petitioner intends to renovate the sales and garage building, asphalt pave the lot, properly landscape screen the lot from the street, and install solid fencing along the east and south property lines to establish his car dealership. A future phase may include a new detailing garage and office building. Only after improvements are made would he begin selling used cars from the property. This proposed automobile sales dealership is on property that is developed for a dealership and has been used as such over the years. The proposed improvements will modernize and upgrade the structures and grounds. The property is nearby other similar uses. Petitioner operates a very well-maintained car dealership on property leased further down the street at 1500 South Main Street. This proposal would afford the petitioner a chance to own his own dealership in the neighborhood within which he's established a strong customer base. And both Planning Commission and Planning staff recommend approval subject to conditions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Antonucci. Mr. McAllister,
Yes. Yes.
did you want to speak in favor?
I just wanted to be here and just thank you guys for inviting me, and I just want to be able to get that building and just fix it up and do everything I'm supposed to do and make the city of Akron happy.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. McAllister. Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you. I would like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. Samples,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Swirsky,
Aye.
Baylor.
Aye.
Yes, thank you. The report of the committee is favorable with suspension of the rules.
Thank you so much. Councilman Fussell, did you want to bring forth any more remarks regarding this piece?
Just in that, I know Ward Council Representative Kamer is in favor of this, had some concerns brought forward from Mr. Kamer. Those have been resolved, questions answered, and the petitioner has agreed to all the conditions within this conditional use. Recommend approval this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0.
Thank you so much. We'll now move into our old business, planning and economic development. Councilman Fusco.
Yes, the request of the committee is for time on 5 through and including 13.
Okay, time will be granted.
Thank you. The report of the committee on item number 14 is favorable. We ask for suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you, President Somerville. This is, we asked for 1 week's time last week, and this includes both a land sale and a development agreement with IRG, who has a successful track record here in our city. This is a 25-acre sale with an option for 29. Phase 1 will be 250 square feet of light industrial manufacturing type of building. And phase 2 would be possibly 125,000 square feet over and above that. So after careful review, the committee is recommending favorable this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0.
Councilman Fusco, what's your pleasure on the rest of the agenda?
Yeah, request that we file item number 15. That was the petition for the conditional use we just voted on. And then I believe time on the balance of the
Okay.
agenda.
Thank you. Time will be granted. Public service, Councilwoman Samples.
I think there's something on the old agenda that I wasn't here for, so if we could take time so I can get abreast on that. So time, please.
Absolutely, time will be granted. Public safety, Councilman Kamer.
Continue time, please.
Time will be granted. That concludes our old business. Oh, wait, hold on.
Madam Chair, we did have one.
We actually do have a piece on rules. Councilman Freeman?
Yes, the committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
This would simply amend our rules of procedure for Akron City Council, given that we're in the state of pandemic that we are right now. We've been meeting online, and this will make that a regular part of our rules. And with that, we're asking for its passage.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This resolution passes 13-0.
Thank you. We'll now move into new business rules.
Yes, the committee's report is favorable. We're asking.
We'll let the clerk.
Oh, okay. Let's
Sorry.
let
You're
Sarah
doing
read
good,
that in. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 1, offered by Mayor Horrigan and Councilwoman Samples. Resolution acknowledging the accomplishments and public service career of Congressman John Lewis, expressing condolences and sympathy to the family of Congressman Lewis on his passing and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman.
Thank you. The committee's report is favorable. We're asking for suspension of the rules. And I would like to defer to, I started to say Congress, I'd like to refer to Councilperson Tara Samples.
Thank you, Councilman Freeman. Just briefly, this is something that came in while we were out on break. As you know, Congressman John Lewis has passed away, and he was just a champion for this country, and participated in the freedom rides and the civil rights movement, and made a great impact on this country. And this is our way of honoring that. So I would ask for council support on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Samples. Are there any other comments coming from any other council members at this time? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor. Aye. Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Hamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This resolution passes 13-0. Item number 2, offered by Mayor Horrigan and Councilwoman Samples. Resolution honoring the life and achievements of meteorologist Dick Goddard, urging the city of Akron to formally recognize February 24th, 2021, and each February 24th thereafter as Dick Goddard Day and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman.
Yes, the committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
And I would also like to defer to Councilwoman Samples on this item as well.
Thank you, Councilman Freeman. Again, this resolution is to not just honor Dick Goddard for his many accomplishments here in the state of Ohio. He also was born in Summit County in Greenburgh, which is now Green, Ohio. This is to make sure that we keep his memory and legacy alive here in this state and in this city. As I said earlier, many of us wouldn't have known about having our pet spayed or neutered if it was not for Dick Goddard champion those things. And I also want to make sure that I thank resident Julie Miller-Kyle, who reached out to me with this wonderful idea, and I think it's just due. So I hope that we all could support it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Samples. At this time, the rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor. Aye. Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Hamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This resolution passes 13-0. Item number 3, offered by Freeman, ordinance accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission of Summit County and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the Summit County Fiscal Officer and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman.
Yes, the committee's report is favorable. We're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
This is a piece of annual legislation that comes across our desk that just certifies with the fiscal officer of some county the necessary tax levies. And with that, we're asking for its passage.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor. Aye. Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Item number 4, offered by Freeman. Resolution requesting that the Summit County Fiscal Officer make an advanced payment of tax funds for tax year 2020 payable in 2021 to the City of Akron Treasury Division and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman,
Committee's report's favorable. We're asking for suspension of the rules.
any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
This is yet another piece of legislation that we see come in year to year, and we're simply making a request of the Summit County Fiscal Officer to make advance payments of the tax funds that we have coming toward us. And with that, we ask for its passage.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor. Aye. Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This resolution passes 13-0. Item number 5, offered by Freeman. Ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts with ServiceNow for the purchase of software in order to replace the current IT ticketing system and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman,
The committee's report's favorable. We're asking for suspension of the rules.
any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
This would allow the city to request a contract from a company called ServiceNow, and it would improve the current IT ticketing system that we have. Currently, we're working with the county, and we're going to have our own IT ticketing system. The cost will basically be the same cost that we have right now, and with that, we're asking for its passage.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor. Aye. Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Item number 6, offered by Freeman. Ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts with OPTIV for the purchase of hardware and software to upgrade city firewalls and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman,
Committee's report's favorable. We're asking for suspension of the rules.
any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Entering into a contract with OPTIV will increase our security on our network. It will also give us more room for individuals that are working from home. And obviously, we're experiencing that tonight, that our computer systems are being used more than ever. And with that, we ask for its passage.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor. Aye. Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Item number 8, offered by Fusco. ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish commercial use cabinet assembly and distribution at 2000 Britton Road, former Sears, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer and advertise for public hearing, please.
This item will be referred.
Item number 9, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a child daycare business center in a single-family district and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer and advertise for public hearing.
This item will be referred.
Item number 10, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish an automobile sales and service facility at 841 West Exchange Street and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer and advertise for public hearing.
This item will be referred.
Item number 11, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a mini storage facility at 1990 Buckholzer Boulevard and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Declaring, advertise for public hearing.
This item will be referred.
Item number 12, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a parking space within the front yard setback at 1259 East Avenue and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer and advertise for public hearing.
This item will also be referred.
Item number 13, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a sports complex and event space and to install additional signage at 532 West Market Street and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer and advertise for public hearing.
This item will be referred.
Item number 14, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a detached garage within 6 inches of the rear property line at 60 East Dresden Avenue and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer and advertise for public hearing.
This item will be referred.
Item number 15, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing the Director of the Department of Planning and Urban Development to enter into an agreement or agreements with local agencies to carry out the Emergency Solutions Grant Program for program year 2020, authorizing payment therefore, all in furtherance with Mayor Horrigan's objective of supporting local emergency and transitional homeless shelters to provide shelter and supportive services to homeless individuals and families, and to prevent an individual or family from moving into an emergency shelter through housing relocation and stabilization services and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Councilman Fusco.
Refer.
This item will be referred.
Item number 16, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Planning and Urban Development or his designee to sell the city-owned property located at 316 Beaver Street, determining said property is not needed for a public use and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer.
This item will be referred.
Item number 17, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a lease agreement with American Winds for lease of the Hangar B building at the Akron Fulton Airport, along with the option of leasing adjacent undeveloped land and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer. 1 week's time.
Time will be granted.
Item number 18, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing the purchase of various interests in real property located on or around Canton Road to facilitate the completion of Sum 91 Canton Road Market Street project. Authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into related agreements, authorizing payment for the same and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Request the committee is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. This is for the expenditure of funds to acquire property, approximately $61,000 in support of the roundabout, the proposed, the super majority of which is going to be funded by the state of Ohio in the name of vehicular safety. This has been talked about and discussed for some time over the last couple of years. So we're recommending approval this evening so we can expedite this and get it moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Item number 19, offered by Samples. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts after publicly advertising for bids for the construction of a roundabout at the intersection of Canton Road and Market Street and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Samples.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee's report is favorable, and we are asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
This legislation speaks to what Councilman Fusco just related to, so we are asking for passage.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Item number 20, offered by Swirsky. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance to enter into a joint funding agreement with the United States Department of the Interior for the operation and maintenance of flow measurement gauges and the collection of steam flow data for the period October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2023, authorizing payment for the same and declaring an emergency.
Thank you so much. Councilman Swirsky.
The committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Well, basically, this is the continuation of a partnership that we've had for the last 3 years with the Department of Interior. It's very necessary to monitor the quantity and the flow of our local waterways.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Kamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville,
Aye.
Swirsky.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Item number 21, offered by Mayor Horrigan and President Somerville. Ordinance approving the creation of the City of Akron's Racial Equity and Social Justice Task Force, charging the task force with developing a pro-equity agenda for the City of Akron to be outlined in a 5-year strategic plan, charging the task force with delivering the strategic plan to the mayor, city council, and greater Akron community by December 2021 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Councilwoman Amobian.
Committee is requesting time, asking council members to get any questions or concerns addressed between now and next week. And Ms. Tamika Rose also has invited all council members who are interested to seek one of the subcommittees if you're interested in participating.
Thank you so much. Time will be granted. Concludes our new business. We'll now move into the portion of our meeting that we refer to as our public comment period, and our clerk will read in comments received for this evening.
This is from Phil Dixon. Akron City Council, I'm writing to express my strong disappointment in the development of the 45 acres of forest at Tice Road and Hardy Road in the valley for a proposed housing development. Akron is a relatively progressive city, and this project sends the wrong message about sustainability, particularly when the land is currently managed by and will be sold off by the city itself. Akron has lost a third of its population in the last 60 years, which is why there is a glut of already developed land citywide. There is no need to develop more land when so many existing areas are in need of redevelopment and investment. In many parts of the city, houses are being demolished and entire shopping centers and office parks have been abandoned. This new housing project is short-sighted and wasteful. It creates the illusion of progress at a higher long-term cost to existing neighborhoods and the environment. In June of 2017, Akron Mayor Dan Horrigan signed an executive order directing all employees and contractors of the city of Akron to consider the impacts on the environment when implementing policies, proposing new legislation, awarding contracts, and making decisions that affect the city, its neighborhoods, and its citizens. Yet now the Mayor's Office of Integrated Development and City Council are pushing for the destruction of city-owned forested land in favor of single-family, low-density houses on the edge of the city. The executive order was touted by the mayor as a reaffirmation of his commitment to preventing climate change, but this new development would amplify the main drivers of greenhouse gas emissions, forest destruction, and car dependency in a city already plagued by many square miles of vacant surface parking lots and single-use structures. This hypocrisy should alarm Akron's residents, particularly those who care about sustainability and those in neighborhoods long forgotten. Unfortunately, this type of development is not a new trend in Akron. In the last 10 years, many acres of forest at the bottom of Memorial Parkway were destroyed for new housing, while half a mile up the road, empty housing plots mark where houses once stood. Off Vernon Odom Boulevard, the Stony Point Commons housing complex replaced forest, with more green space advertised for new construction, while not 2 blocks away is the massive amount of parking and empty storefronts that have plagued Romig Road for years, despite Amazon's recent investment. At White Pond, the city marketed White Pond Office Park directly through a wooded area, leading to a more surface parking, increased car use, and evading the main principles of smart growth. The mayor's June 12, 2017 executive order states in Section 4, Item 7, that to support sustainability and environmental responsibility, Akron will encourage the concept of new urbanism and regional smart growth. However, many of the new developments to date, including this new project in the valley, run counter to responsible land use. I encourage City Council and the members of the Mayor's Office of Integrated Development and the Planning Office to visit the Tice Road site before, during, and after its demolition to see the true cost of your votes and decisions. Until governments at the local and higher levels value land like this, habitat loss and climate change will worsen. With this project, this next comment is from Detective Gregory B. Harrison, retired. To the members of Akron City Council, I take extreme offense with the assertions, presentation, and statements made by Akron Police Chief Kenny Ball last week during a council committee meeting. I'm skeptical but hopeful concerning the task force that Mayor Horrigan has assembled. I am skeptical but hopeful regarding the reimagining public safety that Akron City Council is leading. If the city of Akron wants to move forward with the transformational change that they suggest, this change should start with the removal of Deputy Mayor Charles Brown as safety director and Kenny Ball as police chief. The angry discourse coming from Chief Ball last week only affirmed and validated to the men and women serving in the Akron Police Department that change was not needed or necessary, and anyone calling for change is an enemy to individual officers in the police department, both personally and professionally. Chief Kenny Ball perpetuated and added fuel to the us against them mentality that currently exists. Chief Ball owes the council and the residents of Akron an apology. Chief Ball expressed irritation and indignation because council members did not participate in the training he planned, and also their audacity to pass anti-choking legislation without his input. Council members are representatives of the people, not governmental propaganda pieces to be educated by police departments for the benefit of the police department. Chokeholds have been unilaterally banned in most urban police departments for more than 20 years. Chief Ball's logic and assertion is at odds with most police policy reviewing agencies. The City of Akron, with approval by the City Council, commissioned a consulting firm composed of retired police chiefs and law enforcement executives from across the country. This group of retired law enforcement executives possess the training, knowledge, and background that Chief Ball states this council lacks. They did a complete and thorough analysis of the Akron Police Department and came up with a list of recommendations. The Akron Police Department has resisted implementing the most basic recommendations made by these law enforcement experts. Moreover, the police department continues to hide behind antiquated contract language, refusing to accept any changes that would begin to restore confidence in policing. Why? The short answer is that the tail is wagging the dog. The police department has been able to use the fear of a crime-ridden city to hold the city hostage, drawing mental images of brave young men and women facing death daily to protect us from ourselves, using the threat of lawlessness to justify over-policing of Black and Brown communities. The City Council should have institutional information and proper perspective on these matters. First, I believe a briefing on the above report is relevant to this discussion. Deputy Mayor Charles Brown and Chief Ball should provide this information. Secondly, as recent as 2014, the FBI asserted that there was substantial evidence of public corruption within the Akron Police Department. Deputy Mayor Brown and Chief Ball should have briefed you on a public record detailing the accounts of an Akron Police officer watching a suspect on the ground choking for over 7 minutes before calling for medical assistance, and only doing so after telling the person that he should die. That's all we have for tonight.
Thank you so much. And I know we ran out of time, but both of these comments have been emailed to each and every council member, so that we just ask that you continue to read those thoroughly. I want to thank both individuals who submitted for our public comment this evening. At this time, is there anything else coming before council? Councilman Swirsky?
I'd just like to make an additional comment about Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, ironically, who died on Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the Jewish High Holy Days. And according to Jewish tradition, anyone who dies on Rosh Hashanah is automatically a tzaddik, or a person of great righteousness. But it wasn't really her death. It was her life that gave millions of women, millions of people hope, and that inspired many people even to enter the law profession, finding that an outlet to make change in our society. And it was her advocacy for equality for all, her diligence and her persistence in pursuit of justice, which helped shape today's modern world.
Thank you so much, Councilman Swirsky, for sharing that. At this time, any other council members have anything else coming before council?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Shamus, Councilman Malik?
Yes, I just wanted to speak briefly to the public comment that was raised in reference to the proposed development on Tice Road. The resident who brought up the comment, I think, rightly refers to concerns about sustainability, concerns which we all share. But at the same time, there are competing concerns, and we have to, I think, recognize that these are tough issues. There is an important need to develop new housing and single-family housing and multifamily housing to compete with other jurisdictions and to grow our population and our tax base. And at the same time, we have to be mindful of environmental concerns, of runoff and sustainability. And, it would be wonderful to, redevelop existing parcels, which we are doing with, some of the proposals that are, with regard to Exchange Street and the LeBron James Foundation, with regard to, what we're doing over at the Tangier, with regard to what's going on at Rolling Acres. But at the same time, there are not a lot of places to build, and also the Good Park and Perkins School development. But there's also not a lot of places to develop new developments. And so I think we have to do this thoughtfully. In the Valley, we're going to have a Valley Master Plan, which I think is a great step in terms of having, a prolonged vision of what we're building down there. And so over the next couple of months, we are going to decide what to do about Tice Road. I'm sure the administration is going to bring to us a proposal, and we're all going to review it. And we're going to do so thoughtfully and weighing all the different concerns. But it's not as simple, I think, as that comment brought up. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Malik. We do have a motion for adjournment. If there are no objections,
Second.
meeting adjourned.